Zlatan Ibrahimovic, from obscurity to legend. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is perhaps one of the most fascinating and iconic figures in the history of football. To many, he's simply a tall striker with incredible skills, capable of scoring stunning goals with both feet and his head. But in truth, Zlatan is much more than just a footballer. He's a distinct personality, a symbol, a superhero of the football world who is present not just on the pitch, but also in the media, in the streets, and even in the hearts of his fans. His life story is filled with myths, controversies, and challenges that he had overcome with ease, all while displaying a unique strength of character. Zlatan was born in the 1980s in one of the poor neighborhoods of Malmö, Sweden. His family life wasn't easy. His father, a man of Bosnian descent, and his mother, who came from Croatia, struggled with financial difficulties. He grew up in a household where survival and striving for a better life were more important than anything else. In this tough and ruthless environment, Zlatan faced many hardships but never allowed them to derail him from his path. He sought refuge in football, a different world that guided him away from the streets and poor neighborhoods to where he truly belonged. When Zlatan joined Malmö at the age of 15, no one imagined that this young boy would one day become one of the greatest football players in the world. At first, his tall and muscular frame resembled that of a martial arts fighter more than a footballer, which led many to not take him seriously. But Zlatan knew exactly what path he was walking. He always believed in himself and was convinced that if all those who doubted him ever saw him play up close, they would never again question why he chose football. A unique and controversial personality. From his earliest days in professional football, Zlatan showed that he was more than just a player. He brought a unique personality to the sport. He was never afraid to make bold statements or speak hard truths about teams, coaches, or teammates. For example, when he joined Ajax, then coach Eriksson asked him during his first training session to focus more and train harder. But Zlatan, who always saw himself as above the rest, replied, "I am Zlatan. Don't touch my training. I know how I should play." This kind of confidence left everyone stunned. This self-belief not only turned him into a rising star, but it was precisely Zlatan's bold personality that led many to see him as uncontrollable. In fact, he shone not just on the football pitch, but was always at the center of attention off the field as well. During his time at Barcelona, Zlatan worked with one of the greatest football coaches in history, Pep Guardiola. However, this collaboration turned into one of the most tension-filled periods of his career. At the time, Barcelona was a flawless team with a philosophy built on tiki-taka, requiring coordination and strict adherence to the coach's instructions. But Zlatan, who craved independence, could never fully adapt to this system. He greatly enjoyed the individual freedoms he had in his previous teams and felt particularly sidelined at Barcelona. This contradiction between Zlatan and Guardiola led to numerous tensions and eventually resulted in Zlatan leaving the club with complaints. In a famous interview, he said, "At Barcelona, I felt like a lion in a cage. I'm at Paris Saint-Germain, the golden era." After for teammates and coaches. Rumors circulated that when Zlatan played in youth teams, coaches had to step back or use special methods to manage his personality. From that time on, Zlatan feared nothing and always sought to stand out. First major controversy: Ajax and Mark Overmars. Zlatan's first big controversy came during his professional career at Ajax. He joined the club and initially became one of the team's stars, but soon clashed with coach Mark Overmars. Overmars had asked Zlatan to play more within the team system and embrace collective play, but Zlatan would never submit to restrictive play. He always yearned for more individual freedom on the pitch. One of his most famous quotes from that period was, "If I weren't Zlatan, I couldn't play for Ajax." This arrogance and attitude quickly led to tension with the coach. These disagreements grew so intense that after leaving Ajax, Zlatan said in an interview that life at Ajax was like hell. These statements initially boosted his fame, but his confrontational behavior, especially toward his coach, sparked controversy among many football fans. Barcelona and the Guardiola controversy. One of Zlatan's most controversial chapters was at Barcelona. He joined the team during the 2010 season, at a time when Pep Guardiola's side was widely regarded as the best in the world. However, the transfer didn't go smoothly at first. Zlatan, with his distinctive, self-centered personality, struggled to fit into Guardiola's team-first tiki-taka system. He repeatedly told the press that while Barcelona was an excellent team, he couldn't play freely and felt restricted. The biggest uproar came when Zlatan wrote in his autobiography that Guardiola used him like a machine and treated him coldly and disrespectfully. The media picked up on these claims, fueling a public feud and souring the relationship. Eventually, despite winning La Liga, Zlatan departed from Barcelona, stating he felt imprisoned at the club. Paris Saint-Germain and Zlatan's ego. Zlatan's move to Paris Saint-Germain marked another turning point in his life's controversies. At PSG, he fully asserted himself as the team's biggest star, but Zlatan also referred to himself as God in interviews. He famously said, "If I weren't Zlatan, nothing would matter in this team." Those statements sparked considerable controversy and drew negative reactions in France. He mocking both the media and the French public, positioning himself as the king of French football. But this ego-driven persona transformed him into a global brand. Alongside the team's success, Zlatan became a sought-after figure for advertising and brands, even appearing at fashion and cinema events. He was not just a footballer, but a global personality. Manchester United returned to English football and continued drama. In 2016, Zlatan joined Manchester United and worked under the well-known manager Jose Mourinho. The relationship was strong, and together they achieved great success. Yet controversy still followed Zlatan. After a big win, he said in an interview, "I am the only reason United are successful. If I weren't here, no one could score in this team." Those remarks drew criticism from fans and pundits, who accused him of overshadowing other players. Internet and online feuds. Zlatan is also one of the most active figures online. He regularly criticizes other athletes and even politicians on social media platforms. One of his most famous online controversies occurred when he attacked Swedish politicians on Instagram regarding their immigration policies. Those posts thrust him back into the media spotlight and sparked heated public debate. Physical issues and surprising comebacks. The latest major headline in Zlatan's life concerned physical problems later in his career. In 2020, he announced in an interview that he was suffering from knee surgery and it looked like his career might be over. However, with incredible determination, he made a comeback in the Italian league, shining once again. His stunning return sparked new discussions about his football longevity. In 2021, he said, "Football doesn't end for me because I'm still at my peak. As long as Zlatan lives, football will live." His self-confidence and comeback continued to keep him in the spotlight, and fans remained captivated by his every movement. Zlatan Ibrahimovic's life is undoubtedly a story full of controversy and drama, one that continues over the years. He has always strived to break boundaries not only on the football pitch but also off it. Sweden national team farewell saga. One of Zlatan's biggest controversies was his retirement from the Swedish national team. After Euro 2016, many Swedish fans hoped he would continue playing for the national side, but Zlatan announced his retirement in an interview. What made it controversial was how he did it. "I have decided to quit the Swedish national team because it no longer adds anything to me. Sweden can't achieve anything without Zlatan." That statement spread quickly and sparked varied reactions across the media. At the same time, Zlatan again put himself in the spotlight. He declared himself the greatest player in Sweden's history and repeatedly said, "The national team will never be the same after me." Even after leaving in 2018, whenever Sweden performed well, he snidely commented, "Sweden would never achieve such success without me." His return to the national team in 2021 was also controversial. After a long absence, he announced he would return to strengthen the squad. Some criticized why he would rejoin after retiring, but as always, Zlatan proved on the field that he was still the legendary player deserving the respect. Media fights with teammates. Zlatan has never shied away from expressing his feelings and criticism for teammates and coaches. He repeated that some teammates failed to recognize him as an experienced player. In one of the most famous disputes, he indirectly referenced Nima Kaios and Milan Sik for not reacting when the team faced difficulties. Moreover, Zlatan sometimes clashed with teammates off the pitch. For example, during a game at PSG, he had a physical confrontation with striker Edison Cavani. Some witnesses claimed Zlatan insulted Cavani offhandedly, although the fight never escalated further, but it remained in the media for a long time. Anger at critics and confrontations with the media. Zlatan always saw himself under media scrutiny, and he never backed down from responding. During his career, the media often questioned his unique behavior or critical opinions about other players and coaches. One of the most famous moments was when, in response to a reporter, he angrily said, "I never pay attention to what you say. You should just watch me and enjoy my football." These kinds of replies kept him regularly in headlines news. Sometimes, to attract media attention, he would deliberately make provocative statements. For example, he once said, "Since entering football, I have never felt that anyone could stop me. I am known as a different player, and no one can take a place in my life." Such remarks led many journalists and fans to list